shut the face hole. What up, y'all? So I'm just cruising on this here street called Woodward, one of the main roads here in Detroit, Michigan. And it was time to yap for some motorcycle therapy stuff because I was thinking about some stuff in the old noodle, reevaluating some conversations I had with my daughter. If you don't know, it's just a series where I just talk about stuff that affects me. I'm not a psychiatrist, not a psychologist, just jackass on a motorcycle talking about stuff because this is a way of venting, and I just thought it was a really niche thing for me to do on my channel. Head over there. Anyway, let's talk about it was some, y'all seen them. It was a conversation I was having with my kid, intent versus impact, right? There's a lot of things that affect us in an interpersonal, personal, familial, any kind of relationship, work especially. But of course, this was in the vein of me talking to my daughter about how I raised her. This was a conversation we had a while back. I was just thinking about it because something else happened the other day. And I sat down and I talked to her and I was like, yo, I need you to handle this. I need you to do this because I'm trying to get you to do this. And therefore, this will happen. I sat down with her and I completely explained my intent and the outcome I wanted to have from that intent. And more often than not, individuals such as myself, when I was rearing my daughter and I was but a young fledgling parent, I went straight to intent and action. And my actions were supposed to make her understand what my intent was. However, my actions, although they may have got my result in one form or another, it had second and third order effects, which were the impact, right? So let me give you an example. I don't want to say I didn't beat my kid, but I didn't whoop my daughter. I got whoopings like whatever, I grew up in the 80s, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I got slapped up a couple times. My mom used to punch me in the chest. This little 4'9", whatever she was, 4'11", I can't remember how tall my mom was. My mom was tiny. She rocked my shit. And I would just be like, okay, I guess I'll listen now because she punched me. And I'm a dude, and that happens. Boy kids get treated different. Anyway, I just knew that I never wanted my daughter to fear me in a physical sense, right? I didn't want her to think that, I grabbed a belt and she have that, sense of dread or fear, physical attack, which children, they see this as an attack from their kids. So I used my demeanor, my tone, my presence. I would just be like, ha, I am dad and I am tough and you will do. And she did. However, that eventually led into her kind of shying away from keeping me informed about what was going on with her, the things that she thought or assumed that she would get in trouble for because she didn't want to deal with that shit. I don't want to say she was intimidated. She's not. My daughter's tough as shit. She definitely ain't intimidated by me now. We be chit-chatting and talking. I'd be like, yo, bro, I'm going to jack your shit up. And she know I'm not, but it's just conversations we've grown into. However, as a younger girl, it led her to definitely want to talk more to her mom, right? Because I would just snap off and be like, hey, anger first, explanations later. Not cool. It was kind of how I was raised a little bit. And it depends on your target audience. My daughter is nothing like me other than she got, I'm going to just say, me and her are very similar on a lot of physical attributes. I got sweaty ass hands, my daughter is greasy as shit. Anyway, she has her own personality. She has her own way of accepting the world around her. She has her own persona. And so do I. So the things that I experienced growing up, she's not going to adapt to those things the same way that I adapt to those things because I'm my own person. She's her own person. So the tactics and techniques that worked on me to make me the person I am now had an effect. I hated my stepdad for the fucking longest time because he was intimidating the shit. I was like, bro, why the fuck are you always messing with me? I'm doing what I got to do, but he was trying to keep me on the straight and narrow. That was his intent. The impact was I didn't want to be around him. I'm just like, bro, he about to say something to me. He about to get mad because my bed wasn't folded. My sheets wasn't folded right, and my pillows, like all this shit. And I was just trying to be a kid. But in the long run, as I grew older, I started to absorb the knowledge he was trying to give me, and I slowly started to unveil his vision of what his intent was. Do I think it was the best way to go about it? No. Did it make me the man that I am now and I'm appreciative of it? Yes. Other than those few issues where I'm just like, yeah, sometimes I'll be talking to him and I'm like, I'm still a little, wait a minute, you old as hell, you can't do shit to me. I'm young as pride, I could juke you out, old man. But then in the back of my brain, I'm like, I love this dude, I appreciate what he did for me. I just wish that some of those negative feelings in between didn't exist. So I tried to not do that with my daughter. And the same thing with my real dad, right? My paternal father, like stepdad, biological father. Both were in my life as I was a young dude. My dad didn't uh, have those issues with me, as far as I know, until I was 29, where he was like, "Yeah, you grown, fuck you, I'm out." Anyway, he was a yelly boy. He would scream. He didn't really whoop me that I can remember. He put me on punishment. My stepdad put me on punishment and make me write reports and all this kind of shit. And I think I kind of absorbed that because my dad would just, I'm like, man, nobody want to see his ass mad at nothing. And then I saw how he interacted with my stepbrothers growing up, and I'm like, eh. And I didn't realize that I slowly absorbed that as part of my persona when I was dealing with my daughter when she got younger. Now, this me, I can do this. Me and her can chit chat, we can talk. I will still be angry, but I will say, hey kid, I don't enjoy this. I'm upset about this. You're making me angry. I'm looking out for you. I want this result because this will get you the best long term, this. And then she's like, I understand. I used to get mad. Sometimes I would just, it's not working with my daughter because she don't give a shit about nothing. Not like that, and like the straight apathy type, but she's just like, I would get put on punishment and I'd be mad because I can't go out and play with my friends. It's crazy because as a kid I was not such an introvert, but she get put on punishment and she'd just enjoy counting the dots on her wall. I shut her phone off, she'd just be like, I guess I'll color. Like, I couldn't phase this kid with the standard parenting takeaways, right? You take away this, you take away that. So it took me a while to figure out what was important to her. And it wasn't so much discipline that was important to her, or the things that I could take away from her that was important to her, but it was the things that I gave her that was important to her. So that's when we started. Like I talked about this in videos before. She would have a bad day at school. Homework's not turned in, this, that, the other, this, that, and the other. And I'm not a gentle parent. However, I have adopted, or unwittingly adopted, some gentle parenting techniques. I took her out. That's what we do it now. Is she's an adult, grown teenager. We do daddy-daughter stuff. One time I was like, all right, screw the school. We just go in and hang out. Me and her went and got ice cream. We left moms at home. We just went and started doing stuff. And then I had a positive result forthwith after that. But it was eye-opening to me because I'm like, I didn't assume that this would have the impact and get me the intent, because it was way out in the fucking field. Like, this don't have nothing to do. I'm supposed to be disciplined. I'm supposed to be instilling, values and morals, and this is what you should be on time, and you should do this, and therefore I have to punish you. She got a hug of the ice cream, and her shit was on time, and I was like, I don't get it until later, right? Because I should have done a better job at learning my daughter. That was my fault. And no matter what my intent was, every action that I took occasionally got me the result that I wanted, but the impact was very, very detrimental. I found out later, after my divorce and after my daughter, we hashed out our disagreement. This was a couple years ago, and we talked, because not only was she affected by the divorce, but she was affected by the way that I raised her, the way that I interacted with her mom, the way that her mom interacted with me, the way that her mom interacted with her. So it's a lot of stuff going on, and her own developmental stuff as a kid, right? She's her. She's not me. She's not her mom. So we both had to do better at taking our biases out and adjusting our parenting style to our kid. I think we both do fairly good. Okay, now I think she liked me better than her mama. But it's just because I took a different approach, and I think for me, I think I did like a 180. So if her mom adjusts slightly to the left or right, it's not as noticeable, because her mom was always more her mom's a fucking hippie, right? She wasn't disciplined in nothing until later in life. And I was always Mr. Stern, Mr. Disciplinarian. Now I'm just like, yo kid, you handle this for me, you do this for me, you can just do whatever you need to do. Peace out. I buy this, I do that, do this. Real cool, real chill. Still disciplinarian, still dad, still, the man that she has to listen to, because I have explained to her more than once that I only have her best interest. But I realized that a lot of years I spent with good intent, bad impact. And I take those lessons learned to work. I deal with interpersonal stuff all the time. I'm in a leadership position, and therefore I was like, once I started taking these classes and dealing with my daughter more, I've said this before in my videos too, I went to developmental classes, not just because they sent us to leadership courses, a couple I volunteered for, but it wasn't for work. It was to try and fix my busted ass marriage, which I ain't worried about that. That shit's done. But it was more so to help deal with correcting myself and making the relationship between my daughter better, stronger, all that jazz. And then I took it to work, and I was like, man, if I could deal with a 15 to 16 to 17 to 18 to 19-year-old girl, I could deal with these clowns at work. So it helped. So anyway, I just think, again, everything that I say, absolutely everything, is my personal experience and my personal opinion. That no matter what your intent is, you should know your target audience, which is why you have to be so malleable when dealing with people, especially if you're coaching and you got multiple personnel, or if you got troops like me. Display, explain your actual intent, and if you can, explain the steps that you're going to take to get that intent, and then ask for feedback. Even if it hurts. My daughter hurt my feelings because I hurt her feelings, and it was my fault. She had to tell me that, but I allowed her the space to tell me in her own words that, hey, back in the day, you was fucking up, Dad. And I was like, yo, my bad. Let me fix it. With my words. Said that, hey, I'm going to correct this. My intent was this, the impact was this, and I apologize for the impact. You have to recognize and apologize for it. Correct that if you can. Also give your intent and then move towards that intent. But not just go, okay, my bad, I didn't mean to do it, so let's move on. Let's say, extreme example, but very simple. I'm trying to save somebody from tripping and falling. But in my grabbing them, I yank them back so bad, they get whiplash. And then they are hurt. But what I was really trying to do was save them. My intent was to save you, not injure you. But in that act, I injured you, and now you're in pain, and you're looking at me like, why did you do that? Because you didn't know what was about to happen. I jumped in to save you. I can't go, oh, my bad. Next time I won't fucking save you. I would have to say, I'm sorry, but it was going to be a lot worse if I let you trip and fall into the path of this car when you stepped up on that curb, because you couldn't see that there was a hole there because you had these bags in your hand and your vision was blocked. And all the things that I saw on the outside as the person trying to save you, this is my intent. But my impact was, I fucked you up, I made you drop your eggs, you got that brand new goddamn coffee that you had that you wanted all day and it spilled all over you. I'm sorry. I will fix that. However, this is what I really was doing. And it takes a lot to do that as an adult, especially when you know you really wasn't trying to hurt nobody, but you actually did. That sucks. But you're just like, ah. But as an adult, you should be mature enough to go, my bad. I'm sorry. I'll address it. I'll fix it. And then move on to the actual intent and hope you get there in coordination with the person you're trying to get it from. It seems way more complicated than it is. Target audience, do the thing. I'm out.